What's up, guys? Today we're going over one of my favorite exercises of all time. When I started doing this on a regular basis, everything else improved as a result. So I think you're gonna like this one. Stick around and let me know what you think. No matter what it is you're trying to do, be it bodybuilding, strongman, calisthenics, or something similar, strengthening the muscles of your core in a direct way will lead to accelerated progress over both the short and long term. With a stronger midsection, the strongman becomes stronger, the calisthenics athlete is better able to hold static positions, and the bodybuilder gets an immediate upper hand on his competition. If I had to choose just one exercise for this purpose, hands down it would be the high bear hug carry. In addition to building and strengthening every inch of your core, six-pack included, you can expect a lot of total body hypertrophy here as well. Just holding the weight in place already demands a strong upper back, biceps, forearms, and grip. Add movement to the mix and you'll see why the high bear hug carry is so effective. Now I will say straight away, this movement is most effective when done with an awkward object like a stone or sandbag, and you'll get more out of it if you have space to move around, but even if all you have access to is a barbell and you're stuck in a small space, you can still make the exercise work. So, what makes the high bear hug carry so effective, and what do I mean by high? Well, to understand this, we need to look at the body's natural tendency towards the path of least resistance. It's been my experience that where an object is held makes a major difference in how much of the body continues to work actively throughout the set. What I've found is, any part of the body below where the object is held has no choice but to stay actively engaged at all times. But those parts of the body above where the object is held have a tendency towards working only passively. This means if the object is held high up on your chest, more of your body will be working harder to stay upright, and the core specifically will need to stay braced at all times. Let me explain that just a bit more. It's like comparing a barbell back squat to a barbell deadlift. There's something about having that bar on your back, having those hundreds of pounds pressing down on you, that makes you feel like you gotta complete the lift. You go down and you know that thing's gonna crush you if you don't make it back up. When the deadlift starts on the floor, if you don't pick it up, well, you don't pick it up. So what I'm saying here, I'm gonna illustrate with this thing right here. This is a suitcase filled with rocks, if you didn't know. So when I hold, turn it sideways. When I hold this down here, down closer to my waist, there's no threat. Everything above where I'm holding this, it can kind of just passively go by. But if I bring this thing up here, right, all the way up here, I'm walking around like this, now suddenly, everything below this, and your midsection specifically, feels that weight pressing down on you. And you'll feel it. When you get that thing high enough, you'll feel it, just your midsection right here. There's no bone right here besides your spine, so when you have that weight pressing down, it's all your muscles. They have no choice but to work actively at all times, or your body knows intuitively that it's just gonna fold and you're not gonna be okay. So that's what I'm saying here. When you hold the weight higher up, it seems to make your body work harder, which in turn is gonna make you build more muscle, get stronger, and that's what I found at least. Now, you could follow this line of thinking to its natural conclusion and say then that the overhead carry would be the most effective variation because that's the highest possible position you could hold something, but you also need to consider load. You could never carry as much weight overhead, and realistically, the movement requires a lot more balance, which further reduces how much weight you can carry this way. You could say the same thing for the shoulder carry, and I love the shoulder carry, but still, you'll always be able to get more weight to chest height than you could to your shoulder. And weight aside, the bear hug carry is just a lot more straightforward. Now let's talk a bit about why the high bear hug carry is so effective for developing the core specifically, and why that's such a big deal. Let's use the barbell squat as an example. No matter what style you do, high bar, low bar, front, or zercher, before every rep, you take a deep breath and hold on to most of it at least until you've completed the rep. Using the Valsalva maneuver, as this is called, increases intra-abdominal pressure and adds to the strength of your core, which lets you lift more weight. This does build the muscles of your core a great deal, but imagine if every rep you did was so long that you had no choice but to breathe during it. Think about how much harder your muscles would have to work without that full brace being there at all times. This is actually a method used to increase squat strength. A lifter will squat down to the bottom position and stay there for 10 to 15 breaths, then squat back up. This increases the body's ability to stay braced tremendously. The high bear hug carry takes this concept to the extreme by introducing dynamic movement. You may be able to take a full breath when the object is on your lap, but once it's at chest height and you start walking, it becomes much more difficult to maintain that brace. Every breath becomes somewhat of a rep for the core. The object being high on your chest also plays into this. When you do a standard bear hug carry, the object almost acts as a belt as it presses against your abs, which makes bracing easier. When it's high up, not only do you not have the added feedback to help you stay tight, but the weight is actively restricting your breathing by pressing on your ribs. When done correctly, an easy carry becomes the toughest 30 seconds of your life. In my opinion, the high bear hug carry is the ultimate assistance exercise for heavy lifting of any kind. The midsection is very often a weak link when lifting heavy, and strengthening this weakness will let you lift more weight for longer. This means not only is the movement responsible for building and strengthening a very large portion of your body directly, it's also indirectly responsible for more gains everywhere else too. Even if you're a bodybuilder whose only interest is muscle, if the high bear hug carry strengthens your core, you may in turn be able to rep out a set of squats for longer, which means more muscle growth. The implications of this movement and what it can do for you are insane, and I think anyone could benefit from it. Really quick, I just wanted to show you how to actually do the movement. So it depends on what you're lifting. I have this suitcase here again, but if you're lifting some kind of odd object, it's going to be kind of similar to this, whether it's a sandbag or a stone or whatever. You want to stand over top of it. You don't want to be behind it like when you're doing a deadlift. You want the weight to be under your center of mass like this. Then do sort of a hinge squat hybrid. Deep breath. Pick it up. Set it on your lap. Now from here you can hang out all day. This is comfortable. Depending on the shape of the thing, you might want to flip it sideways. So what I'm going to do here, so it's like this. And from here, you have two different directions you could go. So you could try to get this thing all the way into place, into position from here. So you kind of squat as far down as you can and grab really low and then push it into your upper chest. Deep breath and stand up. Now you can do that and that works. And now it's in position. You start walking around. That works okay for a lighter weight, but it's kind of difficult when the weight gets heavy. So one thing you might want to do instead is follow that whole process. Get over top of it, pick it up, set it on your lap, flip it sideways if you need to, and then just squat to a comfortable level. Don't try to squat all the way down, just get comfortable. Grab it in a comfortable position, and then just stand up. It's a lot easier to stand up from there, but you'll notice the weight is not high enough yet. All you have to do is do this little jump thing. So squat down a little bit, bring it up. That's it. Just like that. Starts down here. It's a little quarter squat. Bring it up. Now that weight is higher up, it was a lot easier to get it from the lap to chest height, which should let you lift some heavier weights. So there you go. Before ending this video, I mentioned that you could still get most of the benefits from this exercise even if you only have a barbell and can't walk around. While the best results will come from actually moving with an odd object, you could mimic the exercise by marching in place with a barbell held in the front rack position. This will challenge your core in a way you're probably not used to and should help you out.